Welcome to the channel. Episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is finally here, and dare I say, it's the best one yet. Now before we get started, let me give you a quick rundown on how I do my reviews. First we start off with the good, then we get to the bad, and then typically we'll do the standout performances, but like I've been doing, I'm going to save that till when I fully review the series. And lastly, we'll do the score and grade for this episode. Alright, it's about that time that we get into the good. Baron Zemo and Sharon Carter, ladies and gentlemen. Both of them completely stole this episode from me, hands down. This is exactly what this show needed. It was like a shot of adrenaline right into the heart. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the first 2 episodes a lot actually, but they felt like more of the same. Falcon and Bucky go on this secret covert mission where they try to discover the mysteries. This episode, yes, it had that, but it also had new foils and different characters added onto it, which to me propelled this episode by far ahead of the other 2. Another aspect I loved from this episode was the action. Lord have mercy. The fighting and action in here by far was the best of the series. I love the way it was handled and shot. There was one action sequence in particular that really caught my attention. I was like, okay, they really throwing down, alright. And I was really relieved to see that because in the first episode, the opening sequence with the Falcon, when he got into the plane and had to do his hand-to-hand combat, the camera work was horrible. Like it was that shaky cam, so you couldn't really see what was going on. So it had me a little hesitant and worried about the action throughout this series. But after this episode, all my fears are gone. So I was glad to see that. But man, this show is really carried by the chemistry between Falcon and Bucky. Like I have no other word to describe it but dynamite. And it feels so sincere and real, and the humor was hitting. Like I had no complaints on that front. Also, the character development for these 2 kind of took a backseat. And normally that would be an issue, but with everything they added into this episode, definitely made up for it. Oh yeah, and lastly, we also got less of John Walker, that fake bootleg Captain America, and his lapdog. Man, if that isn't a good, I don't know what is. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into some of the bad. The Flag Smashers. 3 episodes in and I could care less about them. And they're supposed to be your main antagonists, your main villains. Like we're 50% done with the series, and their motivations are still muddled. They're not the bit least menacing or intimidating. You would think that would be a different case with them all having the super soldier serum, but no. And that's my main issue with this series. We're missing this big menacing villainous presence. Maybe they'll be revealed a little later in the series, which I highly doubt at this point, but to me it might be a case of a little too late. So you have an Avenger, or ex-Avenger, I don't know what Falcon is at this point. You have the Winter Soldier, and you have a villain that single-handedly took down the Avengers. And for what? To fight a team led by a little girl? And that's another thing. Why is she the leader? Why is everybody so confident in her and is following her lead? Did I miss them explaining this? I'm confused. I don't really get that. Anyways, I digress. And the last bad I kind of have is Zemo. Okay, let me explain. Yes, I love seeing him in this episode. And yes, he had some really cool moments. Especially when he put that mask on. Fire, by the way. And my issue with him was this. He felt like a shell of his former self. He felt purposeless to me in comparison to his Civil War counterpart. His character to me felt very reduced. Like complete night and day. Like he did not feel like the same person that we last saw in Civil War. But I guess Joe would do that to you, right? Yeah, so those were my main negatives I had for this episode. It is time for me to give my score and grade for episode 3. And ladies and gentlemen, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 3 earns, drum roll please, an 8.7 and a B+ grade. This episode is the highlight of the series to me. It actually had twists and turns and surprises. And yo, that ending, it left me cheesing from ear to ear. I honestly cannot wait for next week's episode. But like I do with every video, I simply ask that you subscribe, you like, you share, and comment. And don't forget to turn on that notification, that little bell on the top letting you know whenever I drop a video. Until next time, Peace.